Valentin Robiliard with us now, West and Central African analyst for the global consultancy Control Risks. And it's nice to have you with us, sir, from Paris. Look, our correspondent, I don't know if you could hear her there, but she pointed out the fact that some people might be actually asking why this didn't happen sooner. Would you agree with that?
Well, I think the timing is interesting. The president obviously has been abroad and with considerable health issues, and so, you know, if you were being a bit, I guess, a bit skeptical, or at least, you know, there's a window of opportunity now that there's essentially no president in country, and that there is some desire for change and quite a lot of anger. So sooner, you know, it did not happen sooner, but I think now the timing is pretty well spot on, I would say. What
sort of shape does this leave the president in, politically at least? Let's take his health out of the equation for a moment. The fact that he's been in charge since, well, what, 10 years now. The family has been in for 40 years. Is there a weak point here?
I think there is. I think, you know, you have a president who has not been in the country for the past 2+ months. A president who, you know, we've seen very few photos and pictures of him. And so there's credible allegations as to his health status and his ability to run the country. I think the government up until now has done, you know, has been able to maintain some sort of status quo. You know, we've seen pictures of the president. He was able to deliver his speech on New Year's Eve. And so they're essentially able to keep a status quo and to keep a sense of business as usual. But there are, you know, legitimate questions as to what his actual health status is, which was fueled by his conditions during his New Year's message, and just in the long term, whether he's actually able to run the country. And that is a question that will remain until, you know, there's tangible proof that he is well and he is able to rule, essentially.
You talked about being sceptical. That's kind of what we definitely do as journalists. We were talking this morning about the fact that only a few days ago, the United States said it was sending forces into Gabon ostensibly because of potential trouble in the DRC, which is next door, and they wanted to shore up support there for American citizens and interests there. And then this happens. Now, we cannot definitively prove any link here or that the US knew something was happening, but what does it say about relations between, for example, America and other African countries, the influence of China there in the region, all these different sort of elements of control almost over the area?
Well, I'll leave the State Department of the Pentagon to comment on their choices. What I would say is Gabon logistically makes sense. If you do go and help, if you do need to deploy troops to the DRC, Gabon and Libreville itself logistically makes a lot of sense. There's a French base there with 450 French soldiers. There's an airport. And so if they did have to run operations into the DRC, I don't see why they would not be in Gabon. You know, as to you know, motives beyond that, I'm not able to comment further, to be honest.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Valentin Robiliard, thank you so much for joining us today from Paris. Yeah, interesting relationships. So just a couple of days ago, this opinion piece popped up at aljazeera.com, Why Africa Loves China. It's always something to just keep in the back of your mind when it comes to any developments there. The very different relationship which China has with the continent, very different certainly from previous colonial mindsets, you might say. It's written by the academic Dr. Mahari Tadele Maru, Why Africa Loves China. It is in the opinion section at aljazeera.com. We're going online now with Rahila because this one got big pretty quick.
It really did, Kamal. The story is generating international attention. From Kenya, Rwanda, Nigeria, and also Zimbabwe to France and also the United States. People online are sharing the hashtag #KeepItOn. This comes after the government in Gabon cut internet access after the attempted coup. As you can see on the map, Gabon went almost completely dark, especially around the capital, Libreville. Now, this chart is being shared on Twitter, which shows a drop in online traffic in Gabon, indicating that internet blackout. And netblocks.org monitors internet disruption. It says connectivity was reportedly restored shortly after authorities regained control. Now, aside from pictures coming out of Gabon, some in the diaspora have also gotten involved. In France, this group of Gabonese gathered in front of their embassy in Paris in support of the soldiers who attempted the coup. They sang their national anthem and called on the soldiers to return democracy to Gabon.
Gabon is suffering in its flesh, not to be able to live freely under democracy. We tell our brothers who took arms this morning not to shoot or kill, but to resist in a peaceful manner. Restore liberty to the people of Gabon.
Well, others are also sharing their thoughts online. Here's what French Gabonese activist Stéphane Dengue had to say.
If this is a coup d'etat, then it is very amateurish. That's not how you do it. First of all, you got to have an operational commander in place. Secondly, you don't simply tell people to come ahead and join us. You have units that are already deployed to all important bodies, and then we know when they will act. That's how you carry out a coup d'etat. If this is what they wanted to do, then again, it's amateurish, but maybe this is not even what they wanted to do, because I haven't read anywhere what their intention was.
And many online are also drawing parallels to other military coups around the world, Zimbabwe, Thailand and Egypt, for example. Now, this map by Powell and Thine maps out attempted coups between 1950 and 2010. And as you can see, the most common have been in the Americas, with 48.3%. They were successful, and in Africa, 51.5% were successful.